Start recording. Hello.
Nothing.
Welcome back to Karaoke Night with Maury. Welcome back to Character Studios Remnant Lunar Archon Session 38. I forgot to actually ask one of you if you wanted to do it, but it's too late for that now. So here we are. Well, I mean, I've already said it. So unless you talk about the recap. Which I don't want the same person to do the recap twice, so it's not going to be Jack. Hey, Jocelyn, you want to give a recap of last session?
Again? Okay.
Did you get it last time?
No, I did it the 2 times before that. We did a whole lot of planning. I felt like
That's
a whole
accurate.
lot of planning. Gambit didn't want to go to jail, so he went with Jack, and because they were gonna go talk to Oscar, because yes. We kept sending Thicket, our least communicative, which is not saying much because we're all pretty bad at communication.
Granda's okay.
Party member.
That's true. Yeah. So we went to, we kept sending Thicket up to Bale to talk about like plans for like how we were gonna coup this bad dude, Zalzamander. Salzander.
Salzamander. That sounds like a Pokemon.
I know.
Salzander.
Salamander man.
Salzander. But then he just joined our party, and so then we decided that we were gonna try to create a distraction via bomb, and get the Dawn Guards and spread out so that we could attack the dude quickly before the other dude that does magic teleports to our location. And we were gonna try to get rid of one of his generals, who was in charge of the Dawn Guard, Rosanna, but we sent Garand and Thicket to talk to Oscar, our dear friend, and get him on our side, kind of like suss him out to see if he was like for Salzander or not. And while we, being Doug and Gambit and Bale,
and Maverick
got a bomb, and we realized we didn't really have a lot of money, so Doug and Gambit started crowdsourcing, quite literally, and kept pickpocketing, in which Doug did better than Gambit at his own game. And we got enough, and we bought a bomb. And then, while Garand and Thicket were talking with Oscar, they realized that Oscar was like, hey, actually, Rosanna is not such a bad person and will probably be on our side if we just talk to her. And so Rosanna had just walked into the room, where that was the last we left off. Pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, y'all, that pretty much hits all of it on the nose. I don't think I'm missing anything. Like there was something.
We did not clarify whether or not Bale is or is not a vampire.
It's true.
Yeah.
That has not been confirmed one way or the other. If you ask him, he'll confirm one way. Whether or not it's the way that's the truth is another question. Frick. Well, I did it.
Mark off your bingo cards.
Mark off your free space on the bingo card. Which you don't have yet. I should do that. I should make a bingo card. I think that every session that I should make a bingo card, but I don't know if we have enough consistent things to make one yet. I don't know.
Make the whole thing do. and you just have to like
variations of do to do, like one is do to do, one is do to do, another one is do do.
The word milk.
The word milk with an exclamation mark specifically. Talk an enemy out of conflict. That's definitely got to be on there.
how often
Chicken.
does Thicket wild shape?
Thicket wild shapes into a non-combat animal.
Yes, that's a good
Specifically that.
one. Non-combat animal.
Like a chicken. Or a spider. Or a duck, which hasn't happened yet. Would not be surprised.
Need to make me a duck sheet.
Just use the chicken sheet.
There's no chicken sheet. We used
Just
what was
use
it?
the hawk sheet.
Sparrow or hawk.
Just use the hawk sheet as all the freaking what are they called?
Fowl.
Oh, like ducks, poultry. Just use that for all the
If
poultry.
you're eating them.
Yeah, the poultry birds are all just hawk in this case. Yes, I believe that's everything, and that means we get into let's change the music to something more thematically appropriate than Swimming Pools by Irons and Chilled Cat.
Which I'm sure is a great song.
It's definitely lo-fi. There we go. This is better. Castlevania name entry from which game is this? Is that I think this one is the paintings. It's fine. I think this is the one. Anyway, Castlevania, great soundtracks. I love them. Let's see. Who do we start with first? Bomb Crew.
Yeah.
What's Bomb Crew doing? You've purchased a keg of gunpowder. And Maverick has been working on some effectively trigger mechanism using some various different mechanical devices and a timepiece. Also known as a watch. So technically this one is on a chain.
Pocket watch.
Yes. So, Doug, Gambit, what would you like to do with your newly acquired explosive?
I wonder. So we gotta get this ready, but did we decide that we were gonna put it at their house? The abandoned house?
The plan had been to take it to the house belonging to Linnea. You were going to put it on the roof, and then the plan was to light the house on fire, and then at some point make the bomb go off on the roof to cause an explosion while damaging as few nearby houses as possible.
Let's see. So Gambit is gonna go. I don't know if we've taken the keg to the house, but Gambit is gonna go scope out the house and see if it's guarded or whatnot. Kind of
Okay.
sneak around.
Let's see, based on this stuff. Make a stealth check. What's Doug doing?
Oh my goodness, I'm not in Fantasy Grounds. Rip.
Yeah. Doug
Why are you not at Fantasy Grounds?
I
Roll it
started
for
the
her.
process, but I got distracted.
So are we, as a group, currently walking to the house?
As a group of you, Gambit, Maverick, and Bale, yes. Garand, Cedar, and Thicket have all gone to talk to Oscar.
Are the do I see any are we noticeably visible?
I mean, y'all are walking around. Y'all haven't taken efforts to hide in purchasing the keg that you're carrying.
Okay, so the keg is visible.
Yes. I mean, it just looks like a keg. It could contain anything, but you know it's gunpowder.
Is there a lot of foot traffic around Linnea's house?
Not a lot. Once you get to the neighborhoods, the foot traffic dies down. substantially from the shopping areas you've been to.
Okay.
There's still the occasional guard patrol, 2 or 3 guards typically. Occasionally one, but typically 2 or 3 guards. Just walking about, you'll see them every couple of minutes, and 15 minutes.
And is Maverick casually just finicking with his gadget while we
Yep.
walk?
To anyone looking on, it just looks like a kobold messing with little mechanisms.
No.
Oof.
Okay. I guess Doug will just, be on the lookout for like anyone that's like, paying them a little more attention than the average bystander.
As you do. As you walk up to the house, Gambit begins to sneak forward and try to move around the side. Hey, it's you guys! It's you guys! And you see the same dwarf that was guarding it the first time is waving over to you, right at you, Gambit, standing in front of the door. How did it all
he's
go?
gonna What?
How did it all go? I told Oscar about the murder. That you thought it was foul play.
Oh yeah, we're currently still working on that. We just came to investigate a little bit more. There's just some questions we had. Is it
Oh.
alright if we come in?
Hey, it should be fine.
Alright,
I don't know what voice I gave this guy last time. He was a random side character, but he's got this voice now.
Now he's Italian.
Now he's Italian. I could even lean into more of that. I'm an Italian dwarf. I mean, who says we all have to be Scots?
Doug is
Or
going
from,
to ask the
maybe
guard,
from New Jersey.
hey, how long
Yeah,
have you
Jersey.
Doug's just going to ask the guard of, hey, how long have you been on shift here?
For
today.
2.
And, like, how often do you guys switch? I forget.
6, 8 hours or so. I've got until sunset, pretty much. As it is, just for Micah later, it is 2 p.m. Saturday, the 22nd of April, year 417, post-schism.
Yahoo.
Okay, so
Alright.
you leave before dinner time?
Sunset's closer to 7 right now.
So are you a late eater, or do you eat, like, super early?
I eat when I get the chance. I don't eat when I'm working.
Oh, well, do you need food?
Sure, I'll take some food. You want to bring me some? Gotta stay alert, but with you guys around, I'm sure to be fine.
Oh. Well, you just let me know when you're hungry.
Okay. It'll be a few hours. Thank you, though.
Like I said, you just let me know.
Yeah, my wife gave me pretty great lunch, so we're good for now. Yeah, you guys can come on in, as he points you inside the house.
Is Bale with us?
Yup.
Okay.
He just doesn't say anything, and this guy doesn't seem to react to him at all.
Okay. Yeah, he's always been a part of our party.
Sure.
And
All
the
he knows
keg?
is Thicket.
The keg? The guy doesn't notice
Yeah.
it, doesn't mention it.
Okay, cool. We're just gonna waltz right in there. I went differently than I expected. But, we handled it quite well, didn't we, Doug?
I'm sorry?
You're doing a great job, Doug.
Doug just kind of looks confused at as like, have I never?
Oh, you're right. You're right. It would be weird if you didn't do a good job. So
I guess
we know you're not an evil clone.
I guess Doug is just going to revert back to just looking around.
Okay.
And at the same time have this puzzled look and like murmuring in his head is like, I'm confused.
Do I not do a good job? Am
Yeah,
I
you-
not the best?
just a little bit of like, self reflection.
Done it. You've given Doug anxiety.
I'm sorry. I was
What a
trying to give him
mistake.
a compliment.
Now he's having an existential crisis.
Yeah.
Mm,
You've killed him. You've killed Doug. This is the end.
no.
Because like I was just asking the guard for like food and whatnot, and then like out of nowhere, just great job. Like what?
Huh? Why is this a great job?
All
Or
right.
not? So what are you doing in the
So-
house? As he lets you into the pretty much untouched since the murder scene. Obviously the body's not here, but it wasn't here when you got here the first time.
Right. We're just gonna check out a few other things.
He did not follow you when you went inside.
Oh, he didn't?
Nope, he stayed out front.
Okay, that's what I thought, but then I got confused. Okay. Let's go to the roof.
You go upstairs and realize there is not roof access.
There's not roof access. So, can I, like, climb out the window?
Sure. Do you want to try?
Yeah, climb out the window and go up.
Front window or back window?
Back window.
Make an athletics check as you try to climb around out the back window and up onto the roof.
I'm curious if it would have been a different check if it was the front window.
Doug,
Who knows, man? But Doug?
I'm rolling so bad.
that Doug is just like watching Gambit like for a second, and then just like teleports up to the roof, and just kind of looks down at Gambit struggling.
As you put your echo up there,
Oh,
send it flying
no.
out, swap places and look down. As you're trying to climb up Gambit, you look up toward him, freak out for a second, not having expected to see Doug, and your hand slips, and you fall.
Oh no!
Make an acrobatics check to avoid falling prone.
Okay. Cool superhero land. Cool superhero land. Come on, natural
Please
20.
not one. Please not. Oh. I really wanted you to fall and just like hit a box. You take, and I will hit your HP. You take 5 points of damage, half damage from the 20 foot fall. As you see Doug, Gambit slips, falls backward, and actually manages to see what's happening and brace himself as he strikes into the awning of the lower level's back porch before rolling off of it onto the ground and managing to roll along the ground to reduce the force, but still having fallen down the building.
Doug teleports back down, looks at Gambit and is like, "You're doing a great job. You want to try that again?"
Thanks, Doug. Yeah, sure. I think I might have cracked a rib. Oh boy.
Or Doug is like, "Do you want me to just throw you rope? Will rope help?"
You know, I'll just leave. We don't all have to go up to the roof. I'll just let you. Can you take the keg and put it on the roof?
Okay. But I mean, you're willing to give it another try if you want.
I'll give it one more go. Gambit is gonna hang his head and go back. Is there a back door?
There is.
Or
You
just-
landed on the back door
okay.
awning when and then you rolled
Okay.
off it.
Okay.
You
good.
almost
Can I
broke
go
the back
in?
door awning if you'd rolled lower.
Is it locked?
As you go for
Please
it,
don't be-
yes, the door is locked.
No. Gambit does not want to go into to talk to the dwarf again because that would be so awkward. Okay. Can Gambit pick the lock?
Sure, make a lockpicking check, which I
Lockpick check.
believe is on your thing.
Is it in actions?
It should be in skills.
Skills. Lock, pick, check. And Mason's tools.
Thieves' tools down there at the bottom.
Thieves' tools.
Mason's tools is for masonry.
For real? For real. Are you for real? I roll so bad.
It's really for guys named Mason.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. I want to see this animated.
You know, just I can't really see what was rolled or whatnot, but if it's a fail, can Doug try to pick the lock?
So,
Oh my
Doug,
goodness.
as you see, as Gambit's down there, he pulls out his tools, but gently begins to go at the lock, and you hear a snap. And Gambit holds up his broken pick.
At least I got that other lady's thieves' tools.
It's true,
I knew
do.
they'd come in handy.
Yeah, I'm gonna... If you
And
want,
can-
I could just remove the other thieves' tools from your inventory because they're broken.
Yep.
And
Sure.
Can Doug use like a hero point?
Does Doug have a thieves' tools kit and
Oh,
proficiency?
thought there were two.
Well, now there's only one thieves' tools kit. And plus, Doug can teleport back up pretty easy.
Or wait, is there a in the house?
Is there a what?
A chimney? I forget.
Not in this one, no.
Okay.
I will have you know, you have people inside the house.
Hey, Doug, can you get someone to come let me in the back door?
Okay. Doug walks back around to the same guard and is like, hungry yet?
No.
Oh, wait. Then proceeds to like walk through the front door.
Well, wait, is Doug teleporting back around? Or, like, going on the ground outside the building? Back to the guy?
Wait, I thought we were at the back door.
Y'all went in the house, and now Gambit's at the back door. Bale, Maverick, Claude are all still inside on the second floor, and you can teleport up and down between the first, second, and roof pretty easily.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
in
you
that
can
case-
walk around if you want, but you don't have to.
Well, I can't give away all my secrets. I'll just walk around.
Did something happen? I heard something crash.
Oh,
There
it
might
was a
be
door.
some bats, maybe. I don't know.
It didn't sound like bats.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, what's the keg for? It points to the keg in Doug's arm.
Oh, is the keg in my arms?
I believe so.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, I think I would have put it down prior to walking around the house.
Did you?
If I did, it would have been in the backyard.
Okay.
Or-
What happened? Then you go check it out?
I mean, if you want. But like I said, if you leave, then no one's really guarding the front, and I don't feel like staring at a road all day. But anyway, have you like on your patrol, do you ever go like inside and around about the house?
Occasionally I walk around the house. I don't normally need to go inside, but
Have you noticed anything strange? Like
honestly, no, it's been really boring.
no noises at all?
No. Nothing.
Okay. Well, enjoy your time. I'm just gonna go inside and look
Don't
around.
don't fall again.
Me?
Yeah, that's what you said, right?
Fall?
I don't think he specified anything.
Did? Okay. Maybe I'm just misremembering. Okay. Be careful.
Maybe you should go to sleep. You know, find someone else to take your shift early.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
So yeah, I guess Doug's gonna walk inside, and is everyone just like right there?
Upstairs is where everyone but Gambit is. Because I believe Gambit is still at the back porch.
Yep.
And the back porch is on the first floor?
Yep.
Okay, can I open from the first floor?
Yep. There is a knob on the door. You can just unlock it from the inside and open it. If you'd gotten that one, you would have broken the lock too, and it would have stayed shut.
Doug's going to do that.
Door opens, Gambit.
Oh, thank goodness. I did not want to have to explain it to that dwarf.
Doug's gonna ask Gambit, why were we picking this lock again?
Because I didn't want to walk around the house to tell the guy that I fell out of the roof. Because he'd ask, why did you fall out of the window? And I'd have to come up with some reason to do it, and I just didn't feel like that. Even though I am pretty good at lying. You never know.
How is it that you managed to go wherever the wind took you again? How were you able to ride the wind or whatever you said when we first met?
I've never ridden the wind. Where did you get that idea from? What are you talking about?
Never mind. I guess maybe you don't have as many skills as I thought. Anyway,
Oh,
what are
getting
we
burned for gaslighting.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't think that Gambit would genuinely remember that, because he would just use a saying. He's gonna go where the wind takes him, and he doesn't really remember that.
He doesn't remember. Okay, that's fine.
That Doug took that quite literally.
Okay. Doug just again kind of looks puzzled and I guess starts to walk up towards the others on the second floor.
Oh, dang. Well,
Do you grab the keg?
Oh, the keg is in the. It's
sitting it's in the backyard, right next to the porch.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but the guard saw us with it, right?
He did.
And I mean, I don't know if the people on the second floor are ready for it, so I'm not going to keep moving it around and about.
Okay. Let's come to the others. Are you all right? Are you all right? Belle says.
yeah, I just got the wind cracked out of me. Maybe bruised a rib. Nothing that any of our healers can't.
All right. So what is the plan? Are we going to arm the bomb now? Do we know when we want it to go off?
I don't think we need to set it right yet. We just need to get it ready to set.
Are they meeting us here?
We actually didn't set up a place to meet afterward. We probably should have done that, but I don't think we should do anything until they're done talking with Oscar, because that might change things. Oscar might have a better idea. I don't know.
So no explosion right now?
No explosion right now, but you can still get ready for it.
Maverick continues to fiddle. But he does not know how to play the violin. It doesn't sound good.
Doug's going to ask, so, should I bring the keg somewhere? Is it good where it's at until we're ready?
Let's go ahead and put it on the roof.
What? Is that going?
There is a pitter-patter as it begins to rain.
Oh, never mind. Let's not put it on the roof. Dang.
Doug just moves the keg inside.
There. So are y'all waiting there then?
Yeah.
All right. The others. Sidar. Gorund. Gerind. Iket. As you stand by the window as it begins to rain, having waited a couple hours for Oscar to go and retrieve Rosanna, the sound of the door opens. Oscar steps in and gestures behind him. May I present Rosanna, General of the Dawn Guard. As you see, same as I'd shown you before, and as is now in the back. The fairly tall, with her heels, about 6 feet tall, fairly well-built woman with this long, braided red hair, red and gold armor, steps into the room, a humongous axe in her right hand, just drifting off, just holding it off to the side. You must be the messengers. We have a lot to talk about. She steps into the room, closes the door with her left hand. She reaches to the right with the axe and sets it down less than gently, and you hear a large thud as the axe head strikes the ground, or strikes the wood. Well, would you three like to sit down?
Certainly. Grant takes a seat.
She gestures to the 3 seats in the room. There are 2 on one side of his desk and 1 on the other. Is Thicket sitting down?
Yes. Sorry, I lost a sewing needle.
Oh no.
Oh,
I'm
terrifying.
thinking,
I know.
I'm thinking Cedar might want to stay standing. What do y'all think? Or would
Yeah,
she
but could she also be drinking milk?
That's true. She would begrudgingly sit down and drink milk. As Rosanna steps around the room, almost walking around you all as Oscar stands off to the side. How many more of you are there? Is this your entire group?
We have several more, but I'm not sure how that is of most pertinent information. I would assume someone of your caliber would know.
I'm a general. I'm not omniscient. I have heard of you. Not just from Oscar. Rumors went fairly fast around town. You're not as rich as you were told, as I was told you were. Or at least you don't look it. Says to Garand.
Well, that was a bit of a gambit, you see. A rather intentional ruse to hopefully uncover what sinister plots may lay within this lovely city of yours, as we do like to bring the message of hope to those we come across. And there are always those who wish to take advantage of hopeful people.
Yes. There are many unfortunate things that have occurred here. Your gambit pay off.
It actually seemed to be more trouble than it was worth, but since we have learned what we wanted to do, and we are closer to achieving our goal of helping the less prepared, less fortunate, or less protected, then yes, I would say it's worked out fair enough.
Alright, and what is it you do wish to do?
we would like to right the course of the city. It seems to us that there's a bit of issue afoot.
What issue are you referring to?
I mean, I'm gonna look over at our guard friend Oscar and like be surprised that he hasn't told her anything along the way. Like that, like my face is clearly like confused at him. Well, quite frankly, that certain members of your city have been assassinated at the behest of your would-be king. Exactly.
She glances over to Oscar. Alright, you're consistent with what he told me about you then. Good. I don't like when people change their story. It tends to show a breath of lies. Good. It is unfortunate what has occurred in the city. The past decade. Essentially, though you and many others don't know it, Xander, I've seen the cracks grow for a very long time. He used to be a much better man than he is today. He's become self-absorbed, grandizing, and with foolish ideas of what he deserves. Unfortunately, reality is often much more brutal than his dreams. I was told you killed the assassin. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Although it did take us twice, she did escape once, and that was rather embarrassing. Very frustrating as well.
What was she like? Who was she?
She seemed skilled at what she could do. I'm not sure of her name, but she could shift and turn into different people, and I'll describe her. And between Thicket and I, we might, or Cedar too, I guess, we can hopefully explain who that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Her name is Namayane. Well, was. I'd only met her a handful of times. She was always very voluntary in, well, as she put it, committing sins so that Xander would not have to. She was a fool. Poor thing was manipulated. I wish I could have done something for her at the time, but by the time I'd met her, she'd effectively been brainwashed. It wasn't going to change her mind
Other
with anything
pictures.
I said.
No, I mean that sounds exactly like her and those that went with her. We currently have one captive, a dwarf. If you think you might be able to convince him otherwise, I tried, and he did not want to hear. He
A captive? Member of
it
the
is
Dawn
possible
Guard.
that he is also too far gone.
If he
Yes,
was one
we
of the
did
Dawn
not want to kill all
Guards-
of them, but we knew that we were going to have to take them out.
If he's one of the Dawn Guard that's been working with Namayane, he's very likely to have been persuaded down the same path. I'd prefer he be jailed as opposed to killed. But he will not accept imprisonment. Justice must be meted out one way or another. All right. Have you a plan?
We had a couple ideas in the works. One was to create some distractions to leave him vulnerable for us to attack when we had scheduled a meeting. Another idea would be that we have the report of who we believe had killed not just the recent victim, the man who had been married, but even more than that, in fact, a woman of the guard. So
I see. Clever idea. Though, it would be very unlikely you'd meet with Sylzander himself if you attempted that. More than likely, you would get Liang. Though, there's a chance you would have Meledivar instead. Both of them are fairly protective of Sylzander. Liang always has been. I think they knew each other when they were younger, before I even came into the mix. Alright. Well, we're going to need to create a plan and execute it fairly soon. You said Mayane is dead?
Yes. In fact, we also have reason to believe that Liang is actually not present in the city. So,
That's
yes,
correct.
I agree. Sooner is better.
It is correct that Liang is currently not here. He's currently in Reef. However, if Namayane is dead, it is very likely he'll be back before the end of tomorrow. Though officially the trip is supposed to take until next Wednesday. He checks in on her regularly from what he's mentioned to me. And if the scrying spell fails, I don't imagine he'll be patient in his return. We don't have long. When did you kill her? Last night? The night before?
It was early morning. I suppose it was last night.
Good. We have a little bit of time then.
Thicket? Cedar?
Yes, I think it was last night.
Okay. Good to know. I cannot promise you that I can convince the Dawn Guard to actively attack Sylzander. After all, part of even their very magic comes from their devotion to him and to the city. However, I can at least get them to stand down. They respect the laws of the land, and they understand if a challenge is to be made, most of them will be willing to stand aside. I can't guarantee for those outside of my command, but at least for the 30 that I can easily control, should not be difficult. Wait, Mike is checking his mind to make sure that math is right. Yes, that's correct. 30. You should have no issues from them. Tell me the rest of your plan.
The next part.
Sorry.
Yes, the next part of the agenda would then be to. No, that's fine. Whom to place on the throne now? We believe that Bale, he has a following and he is well liked and so forth. We think he might be a proper candidate, but there's also you. You already have the Dawn Guard, for example, on your side. and you seem to have the people's best interests at heart, so is that something that you want to do? Are you more of a soldier, or are you just a leader regardless of wherever that leadership takes place?
I'm willing to lead wherever I am called, one way or the other. But I think we should settle on stopping Sylxander first. He's too much of a difficulty to be considered a side idea. I think it'd be more prudent to wait and see who's still alive after everything is settled, than to account beforehand. You said there are more of you. How many are there?
I suppose if you were to properly argue the math behind it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 more?
6 more in addition to you 3. And what is your quality of combat?
Actually, 7 with Bale. You can't consider Bale, and that'd be 7, so...
Not including you 3, or including you 3?
Yeah.
I see.
No, with us 3, that'd be 10.
Good. 10 strong. What is your fighting prowess?
I can turn into a bear.
I'm a...
Hodgepodge group of adventurers, then. Well, I suppose that's the same type of group that defeated the last leader of this city. Alright. We should meet and plan. I have a place in the Dusk Quarter. There is a warehouse. I have it registered under a false name. You'll find it at Gives Address. Meet me there in 3 hours. Understand? Understand?
Alright, we will go and get the rest of our company.
Good.
Does she seem genuine and truthful about everything she said?
Make an insight check.
$11.
She seems terribly stern. She definitely seems confident and not in the slightest worried. Garand, you get the intent that she doesn't have any intention to lie. Yeah, she seems just to be very upfront. Doesn't seem to be lying about anything she said. She seemed to be very quick to assess and give you information as needed. Oddly open compared to most people you've tried to persuade in the past, but it doesn't seem like she has any interest in holding back. She quickly leaves, picking up her axe. The thicket with your passive perception, you can see actually left a small indent from the blade into the wood. She steps out and walks out into the hall and leaves. Well, that went well. I think. No one died. Guess we have a meeting.
Don't forget Cedar.
Yeah?
Right, well, we need to go ahead and hurry back to them, so that they're not waiting.
Where are we meeting them?
I mean, we were going to go back and catch up with them and make sure that they knew what was going on when.
Okay, so Where is that? Are we going to Linnea's?
I think
somewhere
there's
else?
2 places that we were going to be
To the
involved.
inn?
I think isn't Linnea's on the way to the market, and we were going to make the market the main focus, and Linnea's was going to be the place where we kind of stopped them.
Sounds about right. So, do we go to start with Linnea's and move on from there?
Yes, thicket. I don't.
That sounds good. I don't remember where we said we were meeting.
You didn't.
I guess I just thought that we had talked out the plan of we're going to try to get them to go to Linnea's, and then it's going to try to split them off from there. But since we're not going to be leading them back to Linnea's, when they see us without anybody following us, really, I think they'll know then that something else has changed.
You also hadn't specified when the plan started.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, if it's still just us,
That's true.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens, I guess. But
Over the next hour.
I can't imagine that they're going to be like, there they are. Let's
Set off the bomb!
blow them up.
Yeah.
Like,
over the
what,
next...
but is there anybody? I don't care if there's anybody behind them. Just blow.
Just explode! Kaboom! Do it now! Takes that 3 city blocks were taken out today. Nah, the explosion wouldn't be that big. Over the next hour, as the rain continues to pick up, Garand is feeling fairly fresh, fairly light as it touches you. You would be able to, over the next few minutes, you eventually arrive at Linnea's. As you see the same dwarf standing in front of the building. Now up on the steps, underneath the awning that covers the front door. Hey. You guys, y'all looking into it too? Others are upstairs. I don't know what they've been doing, but they're there. Oh, as he
Yes, indeed. We've got a great lead, and we want.
he clicks his feet and stands at attention. Stand down, Oscar says. Yes, sir. My apologies. As he steps aside to let you all in.
I mean, head upstairs then. Try to find him.
There, Ben.
Hello,
It's to have
dog, Gambit.
As you step upstairs and see the others lounging around in the non-bloody parts of the murder house. Though to be fair, the blood is actually quite... There's very little blood. Especially with having the fire having consumed part of it. But you see them standing upstairs. Standing around, maybe sitting in a chair. Bale locks eyes with Oscar. I trust it went well then. I trust it went well.
Even better than can be expected, in fact.
What do you mean?
So, new plan, we're not killing Rosanna.
What?
Why not?
She actually decided to work with us.
Oh. Goodness. I can see how that would be a game changer, as they say. Why is she working with us?
I kind of forget. She seemed to understand where we were coming from and was not opposed to our ideas.
But with As he looks over to Oscar. But I'm moving Selzender?
Yes. She's going to get her loyal soldiers to help in a way, so it will likely be the main force attacking him while she's keeping the way clear for us to be able to do so. That seems to be my understanding.
So I think Doug and Maverick just kind of look dumbfounded and are like asking, so we're not going to blow something up?
Why not?
I suppose it's always possible, but as of right now, no.
Can we keep the gunpowder?
We can blow something up later.
I mean, you never know when you might need some, but we want to keep it safe.
Portable hole!
Portable hole!
Thicket opens up the portable hole for the gunpowder keg.
Bonk. Assuming Doug gives it over. Does Doug give over the powder keg?
Doug is just going to look like confused and be like, so this whole time I've been carrying around this keg and it could have easily have just been placed into a hole.
Well, we weren't there when you bought it, but we're here now.
Doug's like, did I do a good job?
You
yes,
did
I mean
the best job.
you did what your job was. What I mean, you guys had one job, we had another job. All's worked out exceedingly well. So, you don't always know how it's gonna go. Whenever there's some. I think the military has something like this. Maybe you know this as in your own days, but something about like no plan survives encounter with the enemy or something.
So do you ever feel like I don't do a good job?
No. Did something happen?
And then Doug just doesn't answer.
Gambit's gonna whisper to Gron, I
think you're doing great, Doug.
I gave him like a compliment and he got really defensive about it for some reason. Don't know what's up with that.
Garon starts laughing. After Gambit whispers it, he's just like, yeah.
Once Doug sees Gambit whispering to Garon, like Doug like childishly like grabs Garon after he starts laughing and pulls him to the side and whispers what Gambit's skill sets are, but why is Gambit here?
Looks like a little confused. I mean, we sort of rescued him, and all of you were like, "Oh yeah, hello, new best friend." And it took me a little while to warm to Gambit, and now I love Gambit. He's great. And now you're having a bit of a moment, and that's all right. But Doug, you know how you're trying to follow me and learn about some various social cues and things of that nature. Trying to understand some ways in which things happen. Remember we talked about that a little? Right. So, see, Gambit was actually trying to encourage you. Now, I mean, maybe it didn't come out that way to you, but sometimes that's how it goes. You say something nice to someone, and they don't necessarily take it well. It's not that you're trying to hurt them. It's not like you're trying to say something else. Typically, you only mean what you're saying. Now, I know that you've seen me be able to say multiple things at one time, but when we're together, when it comes between all of us, I don't think we have to worry about that exactly. So, I can say with quite confidence that he was not intending to say anything to you of a negative nature. And as far as his abilities, well, I think it's been relatively well proven that, the two of you tend to inflict the most damage. We all have our different roles, but between the two of you, you're the ones that can make sure that eventually people give up. They can't go any further. So, as far as
So,
what is
but it seems like Gambit damage is always like self-inflicted. So I'm lost here.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said. Gambit's what is self-inflicted?
You said that Gambit and I inflict the most damage.
Yes, you're both very capable in combat to be able to wound the opponents to make them no longer be an issue for us. I try to make everyone better, help out where I can. Thicket's very good at keeping enemies locked down. Seed is very good at keeping us all standing. And Maverick is very good at not letting any enemy get past him. So, we all have our strengths.
So, do people ever tell you, good job?
I mean, every time I perform, it seems I get a good job. Although, except for that last time there, when Cedar did a fantastic performance and made me look better by comparison, because I kind of botched on that when a string broke and it was horrible, and I could not recover. But thankfully, she was there and she helped out, so, But, they tip me, they pay me money, say, oh, great job, you're wonderful. That's a good thing, is I like hearing it, it's nice.
Oh, wait. It just seems like people only say that after, like, you don't do well. And then after a period of time, when you finally do something, it gets recognized. But if you're consistently good, it never gets voiced.
Well, I mean, sometimes things aren't put to words, but they're put to action. So, maybe we as a group have not told one another, oh, Cedar, thank you so much for all the healing that you provide. You're a wonderful healer. Cedar, thank you so much for always making sure that we aren't dead.
You're welcome.
Maybe we don't say that all the time, but at the other hand, Cedar knows that we want to keep her alive and we want to protect her, and we continue to be friends with her and, hang out together, spend time together, and travel the countryside together, hopefully righting wrongs and saving people and all that. So, even if those words aren't said, the actions can be. That's a way to interpret words that maybe aren't said all the time. If, for example, if I haven't made it clear enough to you, I appreciate the efforts that you make and your skill in combat and your ability to basically dance all over the field. That's magnificent. It's lovely. But until now, I did not believe I needed to tell you that because I still want to fight alongside you. I have given you no reason, I believe, to doubt your prowess, just because I haven't said it enough. And so I want to apologize if that has been a hindrance for you, because that was not the intent. I wasn't trying to not say it to try to get under your skin.
So people say what they say, and when people don't say, it goes without saying unless it needs to be said, and then when it's said, it's understood.
I mean, that sounds a little bit obtuse, but you have partially a right idea, I think. Just, if you feel like saying something, then say it. Most people will try to be honest. Even in my preferred speech mannerisms, I don't like to necessarily always say everything that I'm thinking at every moment, because sometimes the thought that I have is not a good thought to have. It's just not, it's not conducive. It's not beneficial, we don't have to say everything all the time forever, you know. Oh, I would really like a cheeseburger right now. Oh, you know what? No, I don't want a cheeseburger anymore. I would like some pie. No, it doesn't make sense, you know, so we don't say that all the time. So, you know, it's okay to take someone's actions in place of words sometimes. And if you do have a question, then please feel free to say, hey, do you believe I've been a good addition to the group? And if for any reason you're doubting yourself or whatever, I can't imagine any one of us would say anything other than a glowing recommendation for your great skill and aptitude in battle and as a comrade. So, yeah, if someone says something nice to you, just take it as something nice. Even if they're trying to lie to you, who cares? You'll find out and you can murder them later.
I got it. So say what I need to say and what I want to say, but don't verbally communicate my internal dialogue of all of my daily actions. Got it.
I would like to
Sounds
hear
about
about your
accurate. I
daily
hope that doesn't
actions
come
if
back
you
to
feel
bite me.
like saying it.
I was just told not to, so I think this is a learning lesson. But maybe if I
If you
forget,
want to say something, you can.
okay. I'm currently thinking of this current conversation and how I can apply that moving forward. And then I was thinking of food, and then I was thinking of, like, what are we doing if we're not blowing things up? And then the thought of not blowing things up made me think of what are we doing? And then it just goes in this whole cycle.
Speaking of which, I believe that's a good point. What are we doing? What are we doing? What is the plan now? Y'all made a new plan?
We need. Yes, we have a few hours left. I'd say maybe 2 hours left after that conversation, to return, and be ready to try to handle business, as it were. So,
Return
yes,
to
if
where?
there's anything that you need to do in the short, back to Oscar's office.
Okay. So is that what y'all are doing? Y'all are returning to Oscar's office at 5 p.m.?
Yeah.
Garand, roll me an intelligence check. Cool. I just want to note, she said to meet her at the warehouse that she mentioned.
Oh, for some reason I could have sworn she said meet back here. So all right, I will correct that. I'll say, oh, I'm sorry.
I could be wrong. I may have said that, but she meant to say the warehouse.
She did say
Okay.
warehouse.
Well,
I forgot.
either way. Okay. So either way, then the warehouse is.
All right.
I'll
Is there
correct
anything
it.
y'all
Sorry.
would like to accomplish over the 2 hours?
What are
Pickett
like
is listening
Zounder,
intently to anything that Doug wishes to voice.
is Zelzander weak to anything? Do we know? Does he have any weaknesses, fears?
I've never seen him fight.
Oh,
Sorry.
are you like his best friend or something? No, never mind.
I'm
Nope.
Oscar. I work for Rosanna.
Okay. Yeah.
I've seen
Never
her
mind.
fight.
Never mind.
It's terrifying.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
From what I've picked up from her from the underground, she's not someone you mess with. Oh,
I saw her
whoops! I
make
probably shouldn't have told you the police that
I'm not going to worry about it. I'm choosing to ignore that sentence. Yeah, I've seen
Right.
her literally blow a hole through a wall, And that's
Oh,
not using the
man.
gun.
What?
Yes, she also...
Wow.
Oh. Yeah, that axe is also a gun.
What?
Yes.
What?
Her axe is also... It's amazing.
I'm
I
so
want
glad we
one.
don't have to fight her.
I want
That would have
one.
been.
It's...
That would have gone horribly.
Yes. I think so too. Especially if she had me or the others on her side, I don't like your chances.
Yeah.
Then again,
Well-
you are going against Selzender. Let's not worry too much.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. You don't even need to roll. He's suddenly looking slightly worried.
Listen, don't worry.
I have lots of
We-
healing spells prepared. Don't worry.
Good.
We'll do our best to look out for each other's backs. We're pretty good at that. So,
Are there any preparations we need to do? Divvy up healing potions or spells scroll? I don't have any of those, but in case you all do.
I have air dust.
Right, the dust stuff I've heard about. What does it do?
Oh, wait. I have 2 dusts, actually.
Oh,
Let me check. We have air dust.
And I have a couple Chaos Gemeralds.
This raw, pale green gemstone has a relaxing feel to it and is fairly lightweight for a gem its size. As an action, you can cause the dust to explode in a burst of air around you, sending back foes. All creatures within a 10-foot radius centered on you must make a DC 13 strength saving throw, taking 4d6 bludgeoning damage and are pushed 10 feet away from you on a failed saving throw.
I'm going to assume all of this was said in in-universe words and
Yes.
not DC 13.
Dust of dryness. This small packet contains 1d6 plus 4 pinches of dust. You can use an action to sprinkle a pinch of it over water. The dust turns into a cube of water 15 feet on a side into one marble-sized pellet, which floats or rests near where the dust was sprinkled. The pellet's weight is negligible. Someone can use an action to smash the pellet against a hard surface, causing the pellet to shatter and release the water the dust absorbed. Doing so ends that pellet's magic. An elemental composed mostly of water that is exposed to a pinch of the dust must make a DC 13 Constitution saving throw, taking 10d6 necrotic damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one.
Okay, and it is worth noting, I don't know why it's not written on there, but there's only one use of the Dust of Dryness left. There was only one use when y'all got it from the...
Got it from wherever we got it.
It was the cult leaders
oh, nice.
back while ago.
One of them is dead.
Yep, the husband is dead now.
Depressing.
Big sad. Interesting. That the air dust seems like it could be useful if you ever get in a group of people. Does Doug voice any additional ideas over the course of the hour? Does he just say things?
Doug just listens.
Take it you are disappointed that Doug does not say many things.
I think it's not disappointed.
Think it is, and that and he doesn't say many things. Think it is blank that he doesn't say many things.
Thicket is
You fill in.
content to listen or to sit in silence.
Cool. Let's see, I must see. Cedar has the Pipes of Haunting, just in case anyone wants to end up using those at one point. She also has the Figurine of Wondrous Power. She has the Earth Dust, which she can use to yeet a stone at a person to do 4d10 bludgeoning. She has a Decanter of Endless Milk. That's her things. I see no potions on her. Does anyone have any potions?
Let me check.
No. No, but I
have a
got
pain
some
ointment that
elementals.
may or may not work.
You have elemental gems and fire dust.
I have Titans.
Those are used for climbing.
I have a potion of healing.
That's
I
good.
also tend to go down pretty quickly.
Perhaps someone else should carry that. Based on the other night, it seemed like you were fairly lightweight.
Okay. I'm just gonna stick it here in this pile and then
Who is taking Gambit's potion of healing? The potion of healing.
I have lots of healing spells.
So not you.
I think Doug should take it because he cannot heal whatsoever other than his one little thing.
Okay,
I'm
it
good
is
with
in
that.
Doug now. Doug has the potion.
okay. Just I'll probably
me?
go down pretty quickly. Or
Valen.
based off of the last fights that we've done, I will go unconscious at some point.
Doug just kind of nods and like agrees.
Do you want bark skin? I could prepare bark skin.
What is bark skin?
Oh, wait, I have bark skin. It
Is
makes you
it a
tougher.
spell that makes your skin bark?
Yes,
That sounds terrifying.
but it makes your makes it so you don't take as much damage. It makes your AC 16.
Right. I don't believe it would be any more useful to me, at least, than the chain armor that I already wear.
I would hate for you to have to concentrate on keeping me alive versus doing damage.
Well, I mean, most of my stuff prepared isn't for doing damage to begin with.
Oh.
You may want to change that, but assuming we don't fight tonight.
It's healing mostly and holding.
That's fine. That's good enough. As long as it's not things like
And Banner of Stars.
detecting objects or being able to find traps or comprehension of languages. Those aren't very useful enough.
I could change that. Do we have enough time to like take a short rest, or can I change stuff in a short rest?
You would need a long rest.
Dang. Are we fighting tonight?
It sounds like we might get it started.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Let us go meet with the general. I'm going to move the clock up to 5 o'clock, and we're going to take a 5 to 10 minute break. It's now 9:30.
Yay.
You do have 2 gems of elemental summoning. What can you summon? Just so the class
I
knows.
think it was an air and a water. Let me go look again, but I think it's an air and a water.
Air and earth.
No, I'm wrong. One, air, elemental, and earth. Yeah,
Nice.
air and earth.
My favorite part.
Depending on where we're at, yeah.
My favorite part of the summoning elemental spells is if you lose concentration. Because if you lose concentration, it goes berserk. It attacks basically.
That's
whoever's-
It's the temporary ones, right? Because there's that permanent one that you can do like once a day. That one's like your loyal friend or whatever.
There are summoning things, yeah, but I think the summon elemental spell. Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure that one, if you lose concentration, it goes berserk. Conjure elemental and conjure minor elementals. Both require concentration. If you lose concentration, you lose control of the big one. But with the minor one, with Conjure Minor Elemental, if you lose concentration, they just disappear. If with regular Conjure Elemental, you lose concentration and you lose control of it. It's to do what the elemental wants to do. I'm gonna go get some more water.
What was Thicket asking Doug earlier?
We were just like establishing Doug can say whatever he wants. So Thicket was being like, I'll listen to anything you want to say.
Oh, because I was like MIA for part of that.
That's all right.
Because at some point, Doug is just going to like pretty much just be like non-stop talking because he's like processing everything and like it's all just coming out.
Thicket will be happily listening.
It'll probably be like at an inopportune time.
I have a knot in my thread and I can't get it out.
So, how's everyone doing this week?
This week's been pretty terrible, actually.
Oh.
Given coming back from like Labor Day weekend, it seems like people have gone crazy. Like it took me 2 hours to get home yesterday, which
Goodness.
is an hour and a half more than it should.
Wow.
And then going to work this morning took me 25 more minutes than it should.
And if not, you can run it that way. So if Michael Jackson, you're not alone, and I'm here with you. My daughters have been like wilding out, which is weird because like my oldest was starting to like do really good, and then I don't know, she just reverted back to like trying to like get out of doing chores and trying to like rush through stuff, and then she was on my phone and she played with something she shouldn't have played with, and yeah, that's been fun. And then Zoe hid their nightlight and she's playing a game with it and won't tell me where it is, so that's fun.
Oh,
Goodness.
also, Google decided to delete all of my saved like pins and stuff in Google. And so all of the places that I've entered to and whatnot are completely erased. So now I have no roadmap of where I have and haven't been. Nor do I have like important like addresses saved.
That really sucks.
So yeah. So that'll be fun, explaining to some people why I need their address again.
But why don't you just know it? Because I'm not a computer, Sharon.
Like I barely remember like 5 people's phone numbers, okay?
Same.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know your phone number, Micah.
I don't know yours. I barely remember my own parents.
I don't know
Yeah.
my sister's phone numbers.
I
I just
only
know
know
my
my
mom and dad.
sisters.
I could probably guess my sister's mostly, but I don't know them for sure.
But other than that, I guess things have been normal.
Fair. I just have statistics.
Gross.
I
Yep.
love statistics.
They're good. It's just a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's slow because of that. It's not
Which
necessarily bad.
which statistics are you taking?
College class statistics.
Like there's different ones. There's like statistics and physics, and then there's like just
Research statistics.
there's like quantitative.
I guess
Mhm.
quantitative statistics is what it is. It's labeled as the math statistics.
So is this more of like combination, permutation, all the other stuff?
It's probably just like a statistics 101. So it
Yeah,
might be an
probably.
overview of all of it.
Probably that.
That's even worse.
It's just there are
Mhm.
so many things to remember and push through. But we're getting closer to being done, and I'd like to try and work really hard and get done by the end of this week. I'm not hopeful, but I would like that to be the case.
Did your college have like uh they're called not mini mesters, but it's you cram an entire semester in 2 weeks?
For a single class, yeah, I can do something similar to that.
Like I had a friend that wanted me to help her with calculus or no pre-cal, and she's not really good in math, but she wanted to finish quickly so she could apply for another program. And I couldn't imagine teaching someone a whole semester's worth of math in 2 weeks.
You'd be surprised if that's the only thing you're studying.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Both.
Because math constantly builds on itself. So like you every day is like 3 or 4 lessons. So it's like if you're struggling with one, you can't even get caught up.
Mhm.
Yeah. You have to get everything. But enough with statistics.
Yeah, it's been stressful.
Let's leave our stress and lives behind. Return to the world of Remnant. Da, 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 da. As it continues to rain, the sun still kind of in the sky. You can see a bit of light behind the clouds, the slight glow that it gets when the sun is still up. There's rain coming down. As you approach the warehouse, this fairly large building, you see it has one major double door on one side and then a loading dock on the opposite. You approach from the side of the double door. What would you like to do?
Charge! Just kidding.
You crash down through the... No. Unless you do.
So
With the windows.
There are some windows up near the top, but they appear to be less... They're not like glass windows. They are like wooden slats that are pushed open, that can open and close.
So at this
Allow
point, do
airflow.
3 NPCs with us?
You have Oscar and Bale, Claude.
Oh, not Rosanna?
No.
We're going to meet Rosanna.
Oh, that's right.
If no one's gonna do anything, I think it's gonna knock on the door. Is there a door?
There is. There's a double door. Come in.
I think it goes in.
As you open the door and enter the building, you see it is largely open. There are a few crates on different sides, but the inside of the room is largely empty. On the opposite end where the loading door is, you see the loading door is open, so there's a bit of a wind coming through. Rosanna standing just a few feet behind that door, watching the storm out at the sea that seems to be approaching. In the center of the room is effectively a table. It's 4 different crates all shoved next to each other with a large board on it that's effectively acting as a tabletop. You see across it is spread, held down by some stone, a large sheet of paper with a couple of different small, seemingly random objects. There's a few cups, an apple, some what appear to be dominoes at one point, just all set up in an odd but seemingly particular fashion.
As if they're like strategy pieces.
Yes. He turns to you all. I thought you said you had 10. Count 7, if you don't include the robot and Oscar.
Right, so
I don't
yeah, I was
remember where we
including
got
the
10 from.
robot, and I was including the bestest girl, and I'll give Jackie a rub on her head, and then Doug basically summons a shadow and then attacks twice as often.
I see. She glanced at Doug. Member of the Orange Sun. How'd you get caught up with these ones?
Lucky day, I guess.
Rare to see one of yours outside of your rigid structure. We welcome it, though. I've seen what your kind can do. Come. Gestures over the table. I've set up some rudimentary ideas. What did you all have in mind?
And this is when Doug gives out what he's I guess thinking out loud is, I wonder why they put 4 crates and not 5.
That's a very good question.
Because I found that 4 crates was enough to provide the structural integrity needed for a battle plan while still maintaining the general movement around the room. To be honest, I didn't think about it.
And a table creates movement?
No, it's what you can move around. It's how you can move around the table.
Ah.
To be honest, it doesn't really matter if you wanted to use a 5th crate. I wouldn't mind. But I think this should be fairly effective. Did you all have a plan? Or had you stopped at trying to kill me?
No. We want to include you in whatever. I mean, you're going to have knowledge that we don't have, so.
No, well, yes, I'm aware.
We're going in steps.
Okay. One at a time. Well, one at a time is effective, but it can be slow. She gestures to the drawing. You see, there is drawn at the base of the paper a fairly rudimentary outline of the whole map is kind of the Dawn Quarter, but the Dawn Quarter is shrunk outside of the Citadel. The oval shape that meets with the exterior wall, you see, covers most of the map that she's created. This exterior wall, this first main area, it's typically under my command. Me and the Dawn Guard tend to stay here, as well as building offices where tax collectors, anything that needs to be held within their day-to-day business of the city. This shouldn't be a problem to get past. I can command the gate to be opened quite easily. The second layer is largely where we greet and work with those outside of the city. The ballrooms, chambers to eat, the kitchen, the throne room, all located in this second layer. The third layer, she points to the very center of the Citadel. This is where the private quarters of Selzander and visiting dignitaries tend to be. Private, secluded, has a good view. Depending on when we go after him, there's no telling which room exactly he'll be in. He likes to wander. Assuming Liang is around, it'll be likely a more defensible room, though it's possible he'll want as much room as possible if he makes it back in time. Our biggest issues are if Liang returns, and Selzander himself. Harold is fairly... I can take him. I can at least distract him long enough for you all to get the job done. Depending on if he knows we're coming, it's entirely possible he will honestly meet us out front, probably with his own personal Dawn Guard, try and stop us. I can probably distract them quite easily. Challenge him. Whatever works out. Been a while since him and I have last fought. I'd prefer the Dawn Guard to stand at the side. I don't expect them to fight the leader they've followed for so many years. It's entirely possible the Dawn Guard themselves will seem to stagnate during this event. I can't guarantee the ones inside the Citadel won't try to fight you, but the ones outside will certainly step aside for you. Do you have any questions before we begin the planning?
Doug pulls out the Dawn Guard thing from his quiver, because apparently his quiver can hold anything, and just like so.
What thing are you pulling out? The quiver can't hold anything. It can specifically hold different types of spears and weapons.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was holding a Dawn Guard halberd.
That would probably need to be out of the quiver.
Okay. Let's take it out.
It could hold their scimitars.
Sure.
But anyway, He pulls out the Dawn Guard attire and just kind of asks, so would I still be attacked if I was dressed in this?
Despite what you may think, the Dawn Guard are fairly well aware of each other. Most of them, even if they don't know by name, they've seen every other member of the Dawn Guard. I doubt you'd last 5 minutes before you'd be caught.
Great. I didn't want to use the armor anyway.
Good. So, it's not bad armor. It does its job.
Is the armor the same color as her armor? No.
It's more of a brassy, brownish gold, whereas hers is a mixture of silver and gold, and is of a different design.
I see.
Hers is, I believe, half plate. Let me double check for you. Rosanna, Rosanna, what do you use, Rosanna? Half plate, yep. So yes, unfortunately, I doubt that armor will be of any use, unless any of you need better armor. Do any of you need weapons? You all seem to be rather capable. Good. Again, any questions?
Someone was asking about whether he had any weaknesses or vulnerabilities. Oh, sorry.
You can go.
Just someone was asking about weaknesses or vulnerabilities, if he has any that you are aware of, or anything that might be of use to us to know.
So Xander. Yes. Weaknesses, not necessarily, but he has some things that give him an advantage at certain portions. Do not fight him during the day. All can, don't fight him during the day. He's significantly more dangerous if the sun is out.
Why is that?
I don't fully understand his connection to the sun, whether or not it's his own belief or some sort of sorcery. He has an Azamar who seems to be oddly connected to Aether and the sun in particular. While the sun is in the sky, it seems to increase his natural defenses. It allows him to use an enhanced method of attack more efficiently than he would normally. He can effectively create these beams of sunlight that can strike his enemies, and while the sun's out, it seems to be more dangerous. I've also seen him occasionally begin to regenerate while within sunlight, but I think it has to hit him directly for that.
And this can happen even if he's inside a building with no windows?
Yep.
Are you familiar with the spell Moonbeam?
I've seen it cast once or twice before.
Do you know how effective it might be against him?
Does it do anything special against sunlight?
What
sort of damage does it do? If it's radiance, then I wouldn't recommend it.
Yes, it does radiant damage, and
as an Azamar,
people
yes,
can't shapeshift.
I don't know that he shapeshifts, and as an Azamar, he has a natural resistance to sunlight and necrotic effects. AKA, he resists radiant necrotic damage.
All right. How likely is it that he will be expecting us to show up?
Depends on if Liang gets back. So Xander's always been paranoid, but if Liang knows that Namayane is dead and returns, it's very likely he'll know that something's up.
How quickly do you think it would take for them to prepare for a fight?
Well, they always stay at least somewhat prepared. It's entirely possible Liang is not packing his most powerful spells at the moment. So if he even comes back today, he may be less effective than he would be tomorrow. But Salzander well, the entire time I've known him, has always been ready for an attack at any moment. There is another recommendation. There's a sword he carries. It's this magical short sword we found years ago, before any of this ever happened. In addition to giving him some spells that he can cast, though those don't increase his level of danger that much, the sword itself reacts to him in a particular way. I've seen him used a few times, and one of the effects it can create is an incredibly dangerous beam of sunlight. It takes time to recharge, more than your standard magic item would. So if there's a way you can get him to use that, I'm not exactly sure how, but if there's a way you can get him to use it, preferably not on any of you, he'd be without it for quite some time. That being said, he uses lots of radiant effects. His weapons seem to be imbued with some level of sunlight. He has the capability to perform some healing, albeit not very many times, and not as effective as he gestures over to Oscar, as some of my men have managed. He does have an innate healing capability that he has, though it needs a moment to focus, aka he can heal as an action. A couple of times. He also wears an emblem that can protect him from the most dire strikes.
When you mean dire strikes, what do you mean?
In mechanical terms, that means he has something called a guardian emblem, which he can expend a charge to turn a critical hit into a regular hit instead.
Oh.
Yeah, he can just say, I don't want to be crit this time. You can only do that a couple of times with the item, but you can. He also has, though not like some of the monsters I've seen, he can seem to take a moment to focus and gain resilience against the effects that would plague him by magic. Whether it be poison, paralysis, or something else, he can often force those out of him. Or at least give him an edge against them.
Does he seem to be like a very routinely person? Like, does he have a nighttime routine that he adheres to at a certain time of day?
He always watches the sunset. But beyond that, it depends on the day. Of course, he sleeps in his room, typically guarded by several Dawn Guard, his own personal attaché.
So, like, he doesn't have some sort of, like, bathing regimen or, like, some sort of, like, shaving ritual?
I assume he does, but it's not something I've ever observed. And in case he does come back, or you have to fight, Liang is a lightweight. He's very easy to knock down, but he's also incredibly dangerous. He can dish out some very powerful magic very quickly. His semblance...
He's like you, Gambit.
Yeah, like me.
He seems to be resistant to magic, and he can fly, using a cape of his. So if you have anything to deal with flyers, that would be important.
I do.
Oh, perfect.
I think I actually do. Wait, let me check. I do. I have Earthbind prepared.
Wonderful.
Nice.
Even to the ground, it shouldn't take too much.
The
for you to
one
knock it out.
time we fought those birds, I've had it prepared ever since.
You only get scarred by flyers once. Oh, and it's,
Not
while his
today.
semblance his semblance won't likely come up, or at least it won't make. It's not something you can stop. Selzander can give himself an aura of light that seems to render magical darkness within a radius around him completely inert, regardless of how strong it is.
You wouldn't happen to have any way around that, would you?
The darkness?
Mm-hmm.
No, I've never seen magic stand up to it. Not even the tests that Liang has put him through using fairly high-level capabilities. He's shrugged it off.
Is there something that he needs in order to perform that spell in the first place?
It's a semblance. As long as he has his own willpower, he can create the effect. Well, that's most of the information. I don't expect you to fight Harold. I'll take care of him. So, if you happen to, lots of sunlight. He's a paladin. He has his own healing. His glaive is particularly dangerous compared to most, but not any more than my axe. Sorry, who is Harold? Oh, right. That would be Haladavar's real name.
The way none of us questioned it.
No one said
Mhm.
anything, and I was like, do I just have to have an NPC ask why is you referring to some guy named Harold?
We've met so many people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought maybe it was like he was his personal herald who was all like,
Nope.
"I'll make way for Selzander."
Well, he can be a bit like that, but no. That's whenever he became, well, a magistrate back in the day, he decided he didn't want to keep such a boring name. He wanted to have a name of a true fighter, and so he made up something that sounded nice. Hanging in the rear end to say that.
Honestly, same.
Honestly, he's still.
You ever call him Hal just to be funny?
Yes, all the time.
Awesome.
As much as I've had issues with them all, I've known these
Is
people
he-
for years, and I'd prefer if you didn't kill them. But Liang and Selzander must be stopped, one way or another. So, what do you think the plan should be? I'm happy to answer any questions. This is Micah saying the NPCs shouldn't plan the attack for you. This is something you as the player should get to enjoy.
So you said that we should get him to use his solar beam of sorts.
If possible.
Do we still have the corpse of Mouse Pirate, which
Who is Mouse Pirate?
No. Oscar. Nope. Bale took care of that.
Yes, I had it buried.
we could possibly take some random person's garments, put it over like a scarecrow of sorts, and have the corpse just, tied in a rope attached to the scarecrow, and then like barge in and be like, we found the culprit as a Dawn Guard.
What? Say that all again. I'm very confused.
Basically just trying to, I guess, cause some sort of rage of Xander and get him to immediately try to obliterate this person who has his assassin hostage.
Oh, I see.
I also thought about this. What if you had it set up to where you were bringing us in because we were aiding and abetting the one responsible for the death, quote unquote, and then we sneak attack him. You bring us in at the you knew where he was going to be because he is always there for the sunset, right? And then surprise, really, we're here to take you down, haha. And it's nighttime and it's not daytime and the sun sets and we're there and oh no, betrayal, curse it, and all.
It's possible. Take you in as prisoners and let you at him.
Yeah, in fact, Maverick, don't you have some sort of way to make it look like we were held by a shackle or something? Like Oscar could be following behind us and she could lead us in, and then in reality they're not really shackles and instead they all get like a free magic missile attack on him or something. Some kind of neat, artificer trickety trick.
No. Sorry.
Well, that's disappointing.
I don't have anything like that. I could make or work on some shackles to make them come apart easily, but I can't make them cast spells quite like that.
Right. Too bad we're none of us are illusionists then. Alright, well.
Sorry. I can make a copy of myself, but I can't make a big illusion.
What about poorly bonded rope?
I have rope.
But is it poorly bonded?
With enough knife cuts, anything is.
That's true.
Rosanna turns back and looks out toward the bay. Keeps listening, but she's looking out toward the storm.
What time is it again?
Should be 5:30 now.
And the sun sets at 7:30?
Something like that. I don't have a lot of time. Not if we're going to fight him tonight. Or you're going to fight him tonight. I don't know if I'll be able to join you.
Is there any animals he's afraid of?
No. To be honest, I've never really seen him be afraid. Even fighting Terrible Grim back when we were adventurers. He was always quite seemingly ecstatic, having a good fight.
Seems like this guy is pretty crazy.
Well, tell me you haven't had a good time killing a monster.
Yeah, I've had a very bad time. I almost got killed by a mimic.
A mimic? Really? That's...
Yeah, I'm
Are you
like
sure
a
you're up to
beginner.
this?
They're great. I'm just kind of new at this. It's only been a couple of weeks since I've started adventuring at all. So I'm getting the hang of it.
What about the rest of you? I mean, you killed Hermione somehow. Please tell me you fought more than just
It's really
a
something.
mimic.
I killed a troll.
That's
I mean,
Or was it a troll or a giant?
ogre?
I think it was
Ogre.
I think it would have said the right one.
some paintings were pretty brutal.
But we lived.
Oh dear lord.
He's really selling himself short. No, he's been of use and has helped to defeat our foes. Look, we've helped out many a town, many a village, and even that one to the west. What is that one? Hold on, let me check my map. I'm sorry.
While he checks his map, you mentioned Xander has a blade, correct?
Yes.
He wouldn't have happened to have stumbled upon it in this old, like, cave of sorts.
No. We found it, I believe, when we were killing a vampire a decade and a half ago. It was just gathering dust from the vampires. Well, can't really call it a castle, correct, really. It was in an old box, a stone box. Honestly,
Did it
it's
have
rather...
any markings on it? The box?
The box? No, it's... I mean, it was that, some gold. I think there were a few potions in it, but that was a long time ago.
Does it
Key
look like
night!
a key?
Right.
I mean, it's not small like a key in any way. What do you mean?
Like, does it look like it could be a key to something? Does it have like ridges in it?
Yeah, it has an odd sort of serrated back edge, so maybe.
Are you attached to this in any way?
What do you mean?
This sword.
Oh, no.
Okay, so we can have it when
Sure.
we're done.
I think
Cool
that's
beans.
seems like a reasonable payment for your help here. Take the emblem too if you want. So what's the plan? Am I going to lead you in there? Let you go?
Do we just go blasting? I kind of feel like either I should be, if Liang is back, I should be against Liang, or I should not be against Liang. And it's one or the other.
That is a binary concept, yes.
Because I'm like a hit hard and fast kind of guy. And so maybe we should put the hit hard and fast kind of guys against each other so that I don't know, but then I don't think I'm any more powerful than Liang, so he could just kill me
Smite you with
and
a
that's
lightning
it.
bolt?
Yep, that'd probably take me out in one shot.
I think I would recommend avoiding fighting both of them at the same time.
Cool. Okay.
It does not sound like a clever idea.
No, it doesn't. Especially if he can shoot lightning.
He can. I've seen him do it.
So I think time is of the essence. So I think yes, you turn us in where you know he will be for his little sunset, soiree that he loves to have, and then as you are heading out, we will break our bonds and we will attack, and you will be able to guard anyone who would try to come to his aid, and then we will try to take him out. Then you can also switch sides if you need to, so that way your cover isn't blown and you can still save the city.
I see.
DM, can I use this as a short rest?
You may. And what if the plan goes wrong? As, in my experience, many plans do. What's the plan B? Also, are you planning to try to take Oscar with you? Because I don't imagine I could persuade them to believe he's been captured.
Can Oscar wear the Dawn Guard outfit suit and go in as your protege, your trainee, your new recruit?
I already am that. I'm literally a magistrate.
No, I thought it would be like you let us in. He was the rear guard, and so this way, if he thinks that it's right for him to stay and help us, then he can do so. If he thinks it's right for him to stay back and to help you, then he can do that. So
I think it'd be better that I stop the Dawn Guard who are corrupted.
all right, well there you go then. So yeah, so we'll take him on, and you just provide interference so that we are not further harassed or hindered.
I'll do what I can. So, is that the plan? Are y'all going...
Sounds like it.
Trying to arrive right at sunset? Catch him watching it, and as it goes down in a dramatic moment?
Mm-hmm.
Sufficiently dramatic moment for important things to happen?
Yeah, we definitely gonna need to cue some good boss music.
Don't worry, I've got a playlist prepped for it. Okay. So, based on the time of year,
Whoops.
the sunset should be about 7:30. I'm gonna decide at 7:30. Is there anything you all would like to do in the 2 hours? Any questions you would like to ask Rosanna? Any conversations to have?
I would like to talk to Bale.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
cool weapon you got there. Like, what is that exactly?
Oh, it's a flame-touched iron. It's a special material from Mistral, actually. It occasionally appears in the absence of burning buildings, or it can be found in volcanoes. Not inherently magical, but against demonic creatures, it can become as so. So it's a bit cheaper than getting a magic weapon, but it has some meaning to me.
Cool.
Why do you ask?
How do you get one? How could I get one?
I'm honest, I don't know. A smith probably. I got mine. No matter. A smith probably would be able to help you. More than I could.
Okay. Cool.
As he looks out toward everyone else, mainly the rest. Don't have very much confidence in yourself.
We're just trying not to oversell. I guess. At least I am.
Thicket wants to ask Rosanna how many of Solzander's abilities need him to speak.
Okay, just a minute. Bear looks over. Who are you? Gambit. Who is Gambit? Who are you?
I'm just a guy. To be honest.
Just a guy.
just a guy. Yeah. Why do you ask?
Takes a drink of water out of a flask. Whoever you've chosen to be, you've chosen to run, hide. Not just as a means of attack, but you do not value who you are. Believe me, I didn't for a long time either. I was who other people told me I was. Life is more than that. We are who we choose to be, not who anyone tells us to be.
Is this something that everyone can hear?
If you pay attention to it, you could. Though they've been, I think, sitting off to the side, unless Gambit made it in a more open place, but it sounded like he was...
Yeah.
Yeah, then you'd be able to hear it, it seems.
Well, thanks, dude. That was kind of out of the blue. I
You're doubting
appreciate it.
yourself. Just my 2 cents. You don't seem to have any confidence in your abilities. If it was falling out the window, don't worry. We've all fallen out of a window.
How did you know about? Oh, wait,
I was
you were
in
there?
the room. I was
Yeah.
literally right there.
Yeah. Yo. I guess we all have our days sometimes.
Doug is going to elbow Garon and say, "See, at least I'm not the only one that thought that."
Well, you know, I
So who are you?
appreciate. Oh,
Who are you
we're
really?
back to this.
I don't care about names if that's what you're worried about.
Well, I guess I'm just a kid. Really. I'm just a kid.
And life is a nightmare.
And life is a nightmare. And I don't think I don't even know why I'm telling you this, but I think simultaneously I was never able to grow up, and I had to grow up too quickly. So, you know, I'm just trying to take whatever scraps of life that I have left, and I'm gonna live it to the best that I can.
Good. I didn't have much of a childhood either. Life is worth living. Never forget that. Cheers. Lucy holds up the
Cheers.
flask. Wink.
Who do people say you are? So he asked that about Gambit.
Who do people say I
Yeah,
am?
what are you?
Or who am I?
Both.
Some say you are the Gambit. Some say you are the thief.
No, me. I think they were talking about me.
Yes.
Ah.
I was thinking about this book I like.
Oh. Sorry, I haven't had much time to read. Well?
Really?
No, not really. I haven't. I didn't grow up getting to read very much. Well, growing up, I was a tool. Meant to serve the whims of my father.
Oh.
And so for a long time, that's all I saw myself as I was. But then I became free. And now I desire to do good and hear stories. I want to live life. I want to be a man who can enjoy himself and bring light to others. Though, Not quite so bright as Selsander. I'd like to provide some light. That is who I am.
Nice. It sounds like you would really fit in to our group.
Maybe, but something tells me I'll be needed here after all of this is over.
Probably. But you could be like a subset, like an offshoot.
The local office?
Yeah. Like you're our frontline guy on here in this city.
I suppose we'll see. Depends on if I even survive this.
I hope you do.
I
hope
hope
we
so
all
too.
do.
I prefer not to die. I've got
Yeah.
too much living left to do.
Who was your father?
Make a persuasion check.
I'm asking a question.
I know. It's what kind of answer he chooses to give you.
Persuasion. Hero point.
Persuade him to tell his life story. I want to know if he's a vampire or not.
I do too. Persuasion.
I can't figure out if Gambit's picking up on the fact that he's a
22.
vampire, or if it's the player who's picking up on the fact that they're a vampire. So I can't have Gambit straight up ask him.
I mean, you could. I don't know if it would be what your character necessarily would or should do, but you technically would be allowed to do it if you...
Yeah. Well, let's see what we get from this. 22.
Is that after the +2?
Yes.
Okay. My father was terrible, terrible man. He lived in a castle on the west side of Vacuo. He would hurt people. He would make deals and force people to work in indentured servitude to pay off their debts. Essentially, slaves for a period of time. It was never the rest of their life, necessarily. Always for a certain number of years. He always wanted them to see light at the end of the tunnel, even if he didn't always give it to them. I think it was a method of keeping them there, keeping them quiet. My mother was one of them. One of the servants. Actually, the reason why she gave me my name is she made another deal. She would have a child for my father. That the child would work double her debt. That she could be free. I was the bail that bought her freedom.
Oh,
Yes.
that's horrible.
Yes, I have no interest in ever finding her. Honestly, I'm not sure if I'd kill her or let her live if I did. I prefer not to kill in general, but I fear my anger would take over in that moment. Years later, my father was killed by a warrior. And that settled that. Thicket, make an insight check. Something doesn't feel right about that last line.
In what way?
Something doesn't feel right. A warrior coming and killing his father doesn't sound... Just something feels off.
Who was the warrior?
I don't know. Technically, there are two of them. Where? There was a man using a whip, and the sorceress. A friend of theirs had been captured by my father. As he thinks. My father killed them both. But he was wounded. And I picked up the warrior's sword and finished the job.
Oh,
Was your father a king? Because he lived
No.
in a castle.
Not a king. He regarded himself as a lord, though not one in terms of proper vacuo deals. He was a monster. And he deserved to die the way he did.
What kind of monster?
He gives you a look like, what?
Was he a vampire?
Why would you think that?
You said he was a monster and he lives in a castle.
That's a good question, I guess. Make a persuasion check.
there, get there, get there, get
Oh my
there.
god. I'm so nervous.
Yes, yes,
Hero point.
yes. Oh,
20.
He reaches out and places a hand on Thicket's head. Kind of a petting motion. Yes, that's the one. He was a vampire.
are you a vampire?
Was he the one that Solzander stole the sword from?
No, it wasn't Seldander, who killed the man. My father was named Theron Androvich. Don't know what happened. I'm a Dampier, half vampire.
That is so
I
cool.
prefer if you didn't spread that around. It's
Of course not.
most people wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
Going back to your father's name, how did you spell that?
Theron Androvich. I will write it down for you.
Is that with an A through a Z?
Theronandrevich. Theron Androvich. Androvich. Andrevich. Theron.
What is a Dampier?
A half vampire. I don't. Well, technically, I can have vampire food, blood, or human food. And I choose human food.
Very interesting.
How does being a half vampire affect your capabilities?
Well, I don't need to breathe, so that's helpful. Occasionally. I can also, he will grab onto the wall, stand up, and then like take a step toward the wall, almost like he's about to push off of it, and then shift his weight, and he is suddenly standing sideways, connected to the wall, as if gravity is pulling him toward it and not the ground. This is effective.
If you also can't breathe, does that mean you can swim infinitely?
I can breathe. I do not have to. And yes.
Can you make anyone a vampire?
How
No.
old are you?
Let Micah check the number for the age question. I cannot make anyone a vampire, no. Well,
Do you sparkle in the sunlight?
that is a very weird question. No.
This is the skin of a killer, Bella.
Is this of a is this from some book or something?
I read it in a book somewhere,
Oh,
but I don't know what
no.
is or isn't true about vampires.
Oh, I think I know
Vampires don't
exactly
glow.
what book you were talking about. I think the book was called Dusk.
That sounds about right.
That's very
Yeah.
appropriate, I guess.
They had it. There's like the one book that they had in prison.
I would be 26, I think. Something like that. My father didn't keep our ages. Or my age, rather. He was not a good man. I have no regrets in having killed him.
Do vampires have weaknesses? Just for future reference?
Sunlight. They can't go into running water. Stabbing them through the heart with a wooden stake will paralyze them until the stake is removed. But it also becomes very difficult to kill them while the stake is in there, so it's a good way to bury a vampire to never be seen again. They can sometimes turn into mist and escape. I did not let my father escape. I threw holy water at him and he died. Holy water works. Honestly, it's still a bit spicy for me. I don't like it. It's like the feeling of rubbing alcohol. The sting.
Wait. Let's back up. You killed your father?
Yes. With this sword. I feel
With
the sword in my hand. He holds up the red iron falchion. I stabbed him.
If you can kill your own father, I think you can do anything after that.
I certainly felt like it, honestly, especially given that I was then free. I went outside. He didn't like the sunlight, so consequently I saw the sun very little until I got outside. It's very hot,
It is pretty hot.
but it feels good in a way. It feels counter to my nature, but feels good.
Do you sunburn easily?
Yes, incredibly easy. But I don't tan, and so I can still sunburn easy even after I've already been sunburned. It's kind of terrible. In all honesty, when I wanted to get away from the darkness and come to the land of the sun, it is entirely possible that coming here was a very bad decision. But it is too late to change that. So.
Do you have fangs?
Yes. Yeah, thanks.
I have fangs too!
Well, to be fair, you are a cat, and I look
We're
more like an elf.
twins!
Yes, I suppose we are. Just don't go drinking blood. It's not good for you. Most of the time.
What does blood taste like?
A very irony. So now that I think about it, you are a cat. Blood might be fine for you. You can probably eat raw meat, assuming you're an actual cat and not someone polymorphed into a cat. And again, I don't know if that would change anything either.
I think I'm a cat.
Well, then you're probably fine. I still wouldn't recommend going and stabbing people for blood, but you know, an animal. You said something, Gambit?
Yeah. By the way, I think you're our new best friend, whether you like it or not. So
I
there's
will
that.
take that as a compliment.
And and Thicket, you should tell him about the moon person. He might know something.
The moon person?
The moon gave me my name.
What do you mean?
I woke up one day and the moon said to me, something, something, your name is Thicket.
Huh.
Go be free.
The moon.
Do stuff. Yeah.
Does the moon still talk to you?
I had a dream about it not too long ago.
Well, that's good. Wait, I don't know if that's good or not.
I think it's cool.
Huh.
So I don't guess you, being a creature of the night and all, know anything about the moon?
Not any more than the normal person. Like I said, I didn't
Okay,
read very many books when I was, stuck as a slave in my father's castle.
that's true. Well,
Honestly, at this point, something else has probably already moved in there. Been 6 years? 8 years? Something like that. Well, I think it's about time we go kill a self-proclaimed angel, shall we?
yeah.
Thicket, you had a question.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, right, with Rosanna.
Yes.
How many of Sylxander's spells does he need to be able to speak for?
Speak. Let's see. Speak. 1, 2, 3. Speak all of them. There's only
Very
one that
interesting.
requires him to see, though.
What kind of, I forget, what abilities do we have that we're using to prevent spells?
We were using blindness to make it to where that mouse pirate couldn't see targets or teleport.
That's also a good point. Liang can temporarily stop all sound within an area.
Uh-oh.
So if any of you need sounds to work, that would be difficult if he realizes what you are.
Well, it sounds like everyone else's problem.
Don't worry, guys. I can still heal without my mouth.
All right. It's time to go. Time reaches. They'll probably leave about 7. Approach. Try and enter. Maybe even a little bit sooner than that. We'll say 6:50 as you approach, as the rain has gotten a little bit harder and the storm has actually moved over the city a little bit. You see flashes of lightning, some still out at sea, some over the city itself. We don't normally get such a large storm like this. Genuinely surprised. None of you have anything to do with it, do you?
Garon tries to ignore the question. Deception, I guess.
She'd probably be leading y'all, so she would kind of ask behind her. No matter. It may work to our advantage yet.
Be on the lookout for a giraffe.
The Terror of the Wastes. Do you think it's coming here?
We've seen it before.
Be careful around that thing. While I believe it's possible in our heyday, me, Liang, and Selxander could have taken it out. I prefer it not attack the city if we can help it. As
I mean,
you all...
or we can just lead it here, and it'll take care of Selxander for us.
It'll also kill all the innocent people.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to let you do that.
Who knows? Maybe it's smart enough to only go after a certain target.
It's a Grim, isn't it?
Yeah.
That would be nice, but I think Grims are not nice.
They are not. They kill anything living or made by humans. Well, peoples, not just humans. Sorry. As you approach, Oscar goes about loosely tying all of your hands to one long rope. Giving you each a look and a nod as he does so. Rosanna takes the rope, pulls you behind her. Oscar walked next to her as all of you effectively prison line walk behind her. For the last...
this is
quarter
very
mile.
familiar.
Does Gambit say that out loud?
Sure.
I'm sorry, what? Were you a prisoner?
Never mind.
I mean, I was literally enslaved by my father, I get it.
Yeah, I was enslaved by the government. It's a long story.
I'd like to hear it sometime.
Well, you'd better live through this, and then I'll tell you.
The plan then.
And then you were enslaved by the cat lady.
Oh yeah, I've spent most of my life in slavery, so we have a lot in common.
Huh. On that death flag, as you approach the citadel, the doors are opened for you. And as you step through, going through the first large, effectively the first section of the citadel is very open. There are effectively different buildings. It's not all inside like the second and third layers are. As the second and third layers are effectively one building, whereas the outer layer of the citadel is disconnected walkways, courtyards, buildings of various types. You actually see what appear to be likely storehouses. And as you going through the gate and walking through the area itself, you see Dawn Guard members look at you and then look the other way. As you approach, you get to the large door that seems to lead to the second layer of the citadel. As Rosanna nods to the Dawn Guard on each side of it, they reach out and open the door, and as you walk through, finally getting out of the rain, having all been soaked or half soaked, as you enter into the well-lit chamber, you're taken back a moment as standing opposite you in this large front hallway of sorts. Hallway's not really like this front foyer. These large sets of stairs in the back, various doors going off to the sides, pillars throughout the room, ornate rugs. Standing in the center of the room, you see 4 Dawn Guard members and 1 magistrate that are flanking a different man. You see a fairly knightly figure, a human, not terribly tall, 5'9", 5'10", wearing this ornate silver and gold armor with bits of blue, this blue side coat almost, with a skirt and covering on his right arm. His left arm covered in a gauntlet, whereas his right hand is uncovered but holding this long glaive. An ornate glaive with gold. Seems to have a slight glow almost around it. An ornate tip depicting what seems to be an angel with the sun rising behind it. At various points in his armor are additional depictions of angelic figures of light, different ornate markers of Aether. As you see, this man.
Oh no, he looks like Ram's a Beowulf.
Wow, I expected it to be the middle tall figure, but yeah, wow.
Nope. You won't go any farther. Won't let you get to him. As he points the glaive forward.
Oh no.
You've one last chance, Rosanna. And I think that's where we're going to end the session for the night.
Bum bum bum. Wow.
Well, shoot.
Yeah, I figured one last reveal for the night before things get ugly. I like his art too. It's the perfect mix of knightly and kind of douchey looking.
Mm-hmm.
No, he looks like an anime Chad.
He definitely looks like he will unsolicitedly tell me about his CrossFit routine.
Stick around him long enough. Maybe he will. Who knows? As for spellcasting, what did you do that might have used your spells?
Us?
Garand, he mentioned that he was missing some spell slots.
I also used the short rest to heal my missing HP from my window encounter.
Good, smart move. Garand, did I don't know if we did any. Did you do any casting when y'all were planning stuff, going around? Any charm personing? I don't think you did.
He held something when he told Oscar, and
I think that might have been.
That's right.
Yeah, so you held a guiding bolt, but I don't know why you're missing the second level spell.
Yeah, I held that, and then I used the cure wounds on Oscar because he was wounded.
Right.
yeah,
Remember? Okay.
I do.
And then I think I used the Bardic for maybe Cedar or for maybe Thicket for a roll.
For someone. We had a short.
Anyway, sorry. Thank you for helping me to sort that out.
yeah.
Good.
part of the reason why I don't want to play a spellcaster.
I need to flip a coin to see how nice I'm going to be. Well,
Nice.
apparently not. That's rough, buddy. Better make those remaining spell slots count. I don't know what you're rolling things for.
Because we're done for the night, and, you know, whatever.
That's fair. You can always just roll stuff. Like, I'll never stop you if you just start rolling things. Let's see. Quest XP for the night. Session. XP 38.
Hey, so did we get... Excuse me, were you going to give us any for her?
Yes, y'all managed to become friends with her. You also managed to get lore. Y'all badgered him, and he likes you enough with those persuasion rolls that he was like, alright, fine. You want to know who my father was? My father was a freaking vampire, alright. And then y'all are immediately like, oh, that's so cool, you're our new best friend. And he's like, what the heck is what's wrong with these people? Who are these people?
We just adopted him.
Apparently. He's just been decided, apparently.
We're a cat and a faunus. What did he expect?
That's fair.
Yeah. How did you roll that many?
You right click on the D100 and then I click 20.
Whoa.
20 D100s. I think you can also get up to like 100 D20s.
That's so fun.
I don't think you can do it on a trackpad.
Yeah, it's harder on a trackpad. You roll a D10 plus 976, Garon. Let's see. The question is, how much do I give you? I guess first the question is, the question is, how much do I give you? The question is, let's see. How much is Rosanna worth on her own? Besides, she's also going to take a little bit of XP from you at the beginning of next session anyway.
Advantage.
Rosanna in the slyest?
Let's make it an even 6,500 XP. That sounds appropriate. You know what? Let's just do a casual 6,000. 1,000 apiece. That sounds fine. Badonk. Enjoy.
Yay!
Now you're each almost at 12,000 out of 14,000 needed for level 6. And no one asked if she was a faunus, which is okay. I'm also going to go ahead and end the recording. Thanks for coming, YouTube. I hope you'll have a lovely night. Goodbye.